Hello students, welcome back to BioSmart Academy YouTube channel. In today's lecture, we will continue our lecture series on axis formation in Drosophila. Axis formation in Drosophila. We already discussed the two part of axis formation in Drosophila. Okay, and this is a part 3 of the axis formation in Drosophila lecture. Okay, so basically in the previous part, that is the second part, we mainly discuss about the gherkin and torpedo, all these things, and we basically end the lecture on a point that how bicoid and nanos both are critical for establishing the anterior posterior polarity of embryo. Clear? So today we will continue our lecture from bicoid and nanos, and we will understand both these maternal messengers. Okay, basically both these maternal messenger RNA. Okay, in details. Okay, with the help of some diagrammatic representation. Remember students, you will definitely going to get question from this topic. So please watch this lecture till end. So first we will going to discuss about the bicoid. Okay, so first our topic of discussion is bicoid. Okay. Bicoid. So this is bicoid. So let's discuss. See, first point, you should note down that bicoid is basically considered as head morphogen. Okay, so basically bicoid is considered as head morphogen. Clear? Head morphogen. Now, so how basically scientists basically prove that basically it is basically present on the anterior side, and how basically it localized to the anterior side, and how they prove that it is considered as head morphogen. So basically there are three important points about the bicoid. Please note down. First point is that bicoid protein was found in a gradient and highest in anterior region. Okay, so basically bicoid protein is found highest in where? Highest in the anterior part. Clear? Anterior part. Okay, this is the important point first. Now second important point, note down, is that embryo which lack bicoid, they could not form a head. It means bicoid deficient embryo. Okay, if the embryo do not contain bicoid, or bicoid deficient embryo, bicoid deficient embryo, what happened? Head will not formed. Head will not form. Head is not formed. Okay, clear? Head is not formed. This is another important point. And the third important point is that when bicoid mRNA, if we add bicoid mRNA to the bicoid deficient embryo in different places, the place where bicoid mRNA injected become head. Okay, suppose this is a bicoid deficient embryo. This is a bicoid deficient embryo. Okay, this is a bicoid deficient embryo. Clear? This is a bicoid deficient embryo, and if we add bicoid mRNA ectopically, if we add bicoid mRNA ectopically to this bicoid deficient embryo, so the region where this bicoid mRNA basically added to the bicoid deficient embryo, that particular region will going to form what? That particular region will going to form head. Will going to form head, or will going to generate head. So note down this point. So basically these are three important points regarding the bicoid. Clear? Okay. Take a screenshot or note it down. Okay. Now next. So we now understood that the areas around now. So basically if we add bicoid, then the basically what? Head will going to form, and the areas around the site of bicoid injection. Okay, suppose this is an embryo. Okay, and if we add the bicoid here, if we add ectopically the bicoid here, okay, if we add bicoid here, so this portion will going to form what? This portion is going to generate head. Okay, and the areas around, so this area around the head will going to generate what? these areas will going to generate or will going to become thorax. Will going to become thorax. Clear? Next. Now, so when we injected basically biochoid deficient embryo, so basically the embryo will form normal. Basically normally anterior posterior polarity will generate. Okay, so this is a basic concept regarding the biochoid. Okay, now another thing is that suppose this is an embryo. Okay, suppose this is an embryo. Okay, and this is the anterior part and this is a posterior part. Okay, so now if we add a large amount of biochoid mRNA into the posterior end of a wild type embryo. Okay, so basically this is an wild type embryo. Okay, this is an what? Wild type embryo. This is an wild type embryo. Okay, please student note this down, note it. Okay, because sometimes you get confused with this. Suppose this is an wild type embryo. Okay, and we know that in wild type embryo the anterior region will going to form head due to presence of biochoid, while the posterior region basically will going to form tail. Okay, so basically this is a wild type embryo. Okay, so what happens if we add a large amount of biochoid mRNA into the posterior end? Suppose we add here a large amount of mRNA, large amount of biochoid mRNA. So what happened? So basically, so the answer will be is that if a large amount of biochoid mRNA was injected into the posterior end of a wild type embryo, then two head emerge, then the posterior part will also going to generate what? Will also going to generate head. Even it will be a wild type embryo, it will going to generate head because we add a large amount of biochoid mRNA, and due to this large amount of biochoid mRNA the effect of nanos will become decreased. So at the end of the experiment we will see that both the anterior part as well as the posterior part both will generate head even in the wild type embryo if we add large amount of biochoid mRNA in the posterior part. So that's all about the biochoid, basically which basically act as an anterior morphogen. Okay, now you will get the idea clear if you look at these figures. Now look at this figure. So this is a normal development. Okay, normal development means what? Wild type embryo. Wild type embryo means what? That in the anterior region it will going to generate head, and in the posterior part it will going to generate tail. This is a normal development, no problem is there. Okay, now next look at this. So basically this is a biochoid deficient mutant. Okay, biochoid deficient mutant, it means biochoid is not present in this embryo. Okay, so what happened? As the biochoid is absent, so as a result both will generate tail. Okay, so biochoid deficient phenotype generate two tails. Clear? Note it down, you definitely get question from this. Okay, next. Now look at this figure. Okay, now if we add biochoid mRNA to the embryos, then what will happen or what we will see? Let's look at this. Okay, suppose in the first case, if we add the biochoid mRNA in the anterior end. Okay, this is a biochoid deficient embryo as you can see it. Okay, now you can see we add this biochoid mRNA in the anterior part of the biochoid deficient embryo. Then what happened? Then head will generate in the anterior part and tail will generate as it is. So the development will become normal. Clear? Next. Now look at this next figure. Okay, see. Now what happen if we add the bicoid mRNA? Now if we add the bicoid mRNA in the middle of the bicoid deficient embryo, this is a bicoid mRNA, and we add this bicoid mRNA in the middle of the bicoid deficient embryo, then what will happen? Then the head will generate in the middle part. Look at this, this is the head. So the development is basically look like this, that is the tail at the anterior part, tail at the posterior part, and head will generate at the middle due to the injected of the bicoid mRNA at the middle part. So bicoid mRNA, wherever we inject it, it will going to form the head. Clear? So basically in this case head is formed in the middle. Clear? Next, now look at this figure. So now what happened if we add this bicoid mRNA at the posterior part? Okay, at the posterior part of the wild type embryo. This is wild type embryo. There is nothing defect in this embryo. This is not bicoid deficient embryo. This is a wild type embryo. So if we add large amount of bicoid mRNA in the posterior part of the wild type embryo, as we discussed earlier, okay, then we will see that two head will generate. Two head will generate. One head in the anterior part as it is wild type embryo, and due to the injected of the bicoid mRNA at the posterior part, it will become head, and the tail will generate in the middle. Okay, so now students, I hope that you get the clear idea about the bicoid basically mRNA, how it acts as an anterior morphogen. Okay, now next. Now the bigger question is that how bicoid mRNA is localized in the anterior part. Okay, how the bicoid mRNA is localized in the anterior part. Okay, so this is a question. How bicoid mRNA is basically localized in the anterior part. Okay, see, we all know that it is a mRNA, so basically it contains both 5 prime and 3 prime end. Clear? Now the 3 prime UTR region of the bicoid mRNA. Okay, now look at this 3 prime UTR region of the bicoid mRNA. There is a UTR region in this 3 prime end of the bicoid mRNA. It contains a sequence. Okay, it contains a sequence. Clear? It contains a sequence, and this sequence is critical for localization at the anterior port, and this sequence is critical for the bicoid mRNA's localization, at the anterior port, Clear? Next, now with this sequence, okay, so with this 3 prime UTR sequence of the bicoid mRNA, there are two protein. One is exoparencia and one is solo protein are basically interact. Two protein will interact. One is exoparencia and another is solo. So these two proteins will going to interact with this 3 prime UTR region of the bicoid mRNA, which is basically responsible for the bicoid mRNA's localization at the anterior side. Okay, now this exoparencia protein must present in the nerve cell for anterior localization. Clear? But exoparencia is not alone sufficient to bring the bicoid message into the oocyte. Okay, this is not sufficient to bring the bicoid basically message into the oocyte. Okay, this is not sufficient to bring the bicoid message into the oocyte. Clear? So due to this the bicoid exponential complex, now the bicoid exponential complex basically transported out of the nerve cell into the oocyte via microtubule. Okay, so basically bicoid and exponentia complex, exponentia, okay, I'm sorry, the spelling is that exuperentia, okay, sorry, it's exuperentia. Okay, so this bicoid and exuperentia complex, okay, it's basically transported out of the nerve cell, is basically transported out of the nerve cell, transported out of nerve cell, okay, transported out of nerve cell into the oocyte via microtubule, into the oocyte via microtubule. Okay, it's moved via microtubule. Clear? Microtubule via the, we all know that via the kinesin ATPase. Kinesin ATPase. Okay. So basically this is a concept. Now once inside the oocyte, once it move inside the oocyte, the bicoid mRNA attaches to dynein protein. Okay, the bicoid mRNA is basically attached to dynein protein. Okay, inside the oocyte, bicoid mRNA attaches to dynein protein. Please note it down. Bicoid mRNA attached to dynein protein. Dynein protein. Clear? Dynein protein. Okay. Now this dynein protein, basically what happened? Okay. Note down. Please note it down. Okay. Now, so basically now bicoid mRNA attached to dynein protein that are maintained at the microtubule organizing center at the anterior of the oocyte. Okay, so in this way, basically bicoid mRNA is localized in the anterior pole of the oocyte. Okay, with the help of bicoid and exuperentia protein. Okay, it basically localized into the anterior of the oocyte, into the anterior basically of the oocyte. Clear? So basically this is a concept about the bicoid, that how bicoid act as an anti-morphogen. I hope that you got a clear idea with the help of the figures, and how the bicoid mRNA is localized in the anterior pole of the oocyte. You also got the clear idea. Okay, so students, that's all for today's lecture. In today's lecture we mainly discuss in details about the bicoid mRNA. Okay, in our next lecture we will going to detailing the nanos mRNA. Okay, as well as we see about the hunchback and caudal. Okay, so we complete the nanos and the hunchback caudal, that is the total anterior and posterior part, in our next lecture, that is part 4 of the Drosophila axis formation. Clear? Then we will start the zygotic genes. Clear? In details. So please follow us, please share our YouTube channel, because we will going to provide you free YouTube lectures, free online lectures that will help you to crack the CSIR NET June 2021. Okay, and all the lectures are basically free, so please utilize it for your examination preparation. And if you have any doubt, then please comment me on the comment box. Thank you very much.